you think the Cody Rhodes heel turn has already happened?
I think it has, actually. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I think it has subtly happened. Because you're starting to notice the boos. You're starting to know the way he interacts with the fans. I mean, yeah, of course he still gives shout out to people who are the special guests, whatever. Just handicapped kids or disabled kids, and he does all that, but that's just because he's a good person. Like, his heel turn has nothing to do with who he actually really is. It's just a character he plays. But I believe it's starting. I believe it's in the process. If it hasn't started already, it's in the process.
See, I think Cody's going to go down this route of just being... He's not going to change. I don't think Cody Rhodes is going to be like a full-on, you stinky people kind of heel. He's not going to be that kind of heel. I think Cody Rhodes is going to be the most delusional heel in the history of pro wrestling. Like it's that whole thing of, like, you remember there was this quote from someone in AEW that, Cody Rhodes thinks he's Captain America, but he's actually Homelander, which everyone heard and was like, oh, that's totally true. Like, it's so eerily true. And I think, look, the boos. I just realized none of like our audio anything was connected. Wait, say something. Hey, welcome back to the wrestling show. We're keeping it real, goes right. Welcome back to Real Take Wrestle Talk live here on YouTube. Technical difficulties to start out, but that's the way it goes sometimes. It's live TV, pal. It's me, El Jefe, a Real Take Sports, INC, and of course, Trevor. Trevor, how are you doing, my friend?
Much better. How's everything with you, man?
It is going well. Did a live stream last night. By the way, I want to personally thank everyone who showed up to last night's live stream for the Monday Night Football game between the Bucks and the Giants. Had over 2,000. Yeah, it was not a good game. It was a good game up until yeah. It was a good game up until the third quarter happened, but I want to thank personally all 2,000 of the people out there, all the 2,000 people who came and watched. It was a fun time, and I was glad to take the very preposterous questions about various things, including Wendy's and whether or not they are a prime time fast food restaurant. I was very happy to answer all those questions. Definitely going to be happy to answer more of those today. But before we get to any of that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please hit that follow button so you get notified whenever one of our audio episodes drops. And of course, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a RVD. Do it with me, Trevor. Do it with me. 5-star review, because it helps more people see it. It helps me and my self-esteem. Please leave a 5-star review if you could be so kind. Cincy Edits has already joined the chat here. Cincy Edits says, he says here, I thought the fan was Gable Stevenson. Then I realized the fan now has more TV time than Gable Stevenson. He's referring to the fan who attacked Seth Rollins, and that is true. Since he says, Omar looks weird, and I can't figure out why. Well, I shaved, and I got a haircut all in the same day. So I was looking like a beast. Before, I was looking like Brock Lesnar with a ponytail, long hair, and then the massive beard. Although I did not have the muscles of Brock Lesnar. Although one could argue my calf muscles are probably just as big, if not bigger, than Brock Lesnar's, because he has little chicken legs. Don't hurt me, Brock. We got a lot to get to, Trevor. Trevor, before we do, is there anything... I want to start off with this before. Is there anything you're watching in wrestling right now that you are really enjoying?
Well, actually, this week I didn't really watch much wrestling, to be honest. I was feeling a little under the weather and had other things to do. But in general, I guess I've been catching up on some of ROH, what ROH has been doing recently, which has been pretty good, sadly. because they're leaving soon.
Man, they maybe someone at Sinclair Broadcasting should have stolen Cleopatra's egg. Get that $100 million sale on the black market and just it could have revived the entire brand. Although, hey man, Global Force Gold, we still got that to look forward to. Is a new wrestling company coming? We'll find out later on in the show. Global Force Gold. We got to talk about that at some point. Hey, Trevor, let's kick things off and talk about the Survivor Series. So WWE Survivor Series was this past Sunday. It involved a plethora of matches that many could argue had no reason at all to happen, and probably most people would argue that that statement is true. Trevor, this past Sunday was Survivor Series. It came, it happened. It was a thing. I'm pretty sure Raw won all but 2 matches on the entire night. We'll talk about each one in particular and go through the card in a second. But what were your impressions, your overall thoughts coming out of Survivor Series? What did you think of the pay-per-view as a whole?
It was pretty weak from what it was what I thought it was going to be. Pretty much from what we thought it was going to be. The matches that we thought were going to be good were good. The matches that we didn't care for it weren't great. So it didn't shock me at all, actually.
Yeah, it didn't shock me at all given what we had coming in. I was at least expecting most of these matches to be really good. They were fine in some cases. In some cases, they were flat. In some cases, I didn't care. And that is the weird thing about, I think, this pay-per-view. Because in the past, WWE have done terrible builds to pay-per-views. And, we've, for whatever reason, we've been like, okay, cool. It was a bad build, but the people they have in the ring are great, and they're going to work, and they're going to do amazing things. However, that's was lukewarm on that. It was inconsistent, honestly. The wrestling also was inconsistent on the card. Main event was really good. I thought Charlotte versus Becky Lynch was fine. Could have been better.
That was actually my favorite match of the night, honestly.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in particular, but the match, I mean, it was fine. Well, let's just get into the matches. I'm kind of
right. I get what you mean, though. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's get into it. First off, we had Damian Priest, the WWE United States Champion, taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Damian Priest by disqualification after Damian Priest got really mad and just tried to destroy Shinsuke Nakamura and Boogs. So Nakamura beat Damian Priest via technicality in 9:25. Could be spelling a potential Damian Priest heel turn here because he did not look happy at the end of that match. He looked like someone who might have a little bit of a character change.
Yeah, you could definitely see that. It wouldn't be the first time that was a quote unquote heel, and honestly, it did well for him the first time. So I wouldn't mind seeing it. It was a decent match, though. It wasn't a great match, but it was decent.
My impression of these two in the ring at Survivor Series the entire time, you know what I was thinking to myself, Trevor? These two can do better, and they should do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was watching this match, and it would have been a fine TV match, but I'm like, okay, pay-per-view. It's opening up the show. Like here's the thing: the way Peacock works now, this is the opener of the show because it doesn't have the whole separator of, oh, this is the pre-show or whatever. You turn on Peacock, this is what you're going to find. Survivor Series starts at 7 on Peacock. So for whatever reason, they put this match on first. I get whatever pre-show, that YouTube, honey, chicken, mustard, Mountain Dew, whatever pre-show, all your little advertisements, WWE. Jesus. I get that, but it should have been better. I thought it was a weak pay-per-view match, to be honest, given the two people in the ring. Shinsuke Nakamura, I know for sure, is capable of doing better. And honestly, I expected Damian Priest to be an opponent that Nakamura could work well with. It was just Headlock City, boring spots.
Pretty much.
I don't hate Rick Boogs, but I hate Rick Boogs with Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm just annoyed by it. That's just me.
It's been there, done that at this point. I'm over it.
The only thing good about that whole act is Pat McAfee's reaction. Bugs! Oh my God, Pat McAfee sounding like a kid going through puberty. Oh my God. Here we go. Moving on, let's get to the main card. In the opening match, the Raw Women's World Champion Becky Lynch took on Charlotte Flair, defeating Charlotte Flair after reversing a roll-up attempt, holding the tights, holding the rope. Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte Flair in the opening contest in 1815, the time, not the year. Trevor, I know you and I have different opinions on this match, so I'm going to let you go first. What did you think about this match?
I thought it was good, but I thought it could have been better. The fact that I don't know. They still the biggest problem with me about the match was they still made Charlotte look dominant, even though she got beat. And I'm like, cool, whatever. You're still trying to, she is one of your champions. You're still trying to whatever. But like, why couldn't Becky get a clean win without the roll up? Like, you know what I mean? Like the way it was, it could have been like a better win, I thought. But it still wasn't a bad match.
Did you just say clean win in WWE, sir? Sir,
no, I'm sorry.
Excuse you.
Excuse Hulk Hogan was the champion. It makes no sense.
Brother.
But no, I mean, I thought the match could have been way better. I thought the build-up was way better than the match actually was.
Oh, the build-up to this match was amazing. You had shooting for both in the in-ring sense and the outside. You had so much to build off of. People were excited. I knew I was probably being worked for this match, but I was like, oh, this is going to be an amazing match. Charlotte versus Becky. Becky's talking all this shit about Charlotte, talking about how nobody likes her, how she's the hero of the locker room and Charlotte Flair is the outcast, how Charlotte Flair is pissed off every single person in the locker room, talking shit about her dad, who no one's even allowed to mention.
Yep.
Becky has gone far and beyond to sell this feud, to sell this pay-per-view, to sell this match. And they went out there. And it wasn't a fight. That's the one thing. This was built up to be a blood feud between two people who hate each other, who were going to shoot on each other, who were going to do all... But they went out there and they had a wrestling match. I don't even care as much, honestly, about the finish as I do about the fact that they literally did the one thing you're not supposed to do. CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston built up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks build was a blood feud. What did the first thing they did? Eddie Kingston hit CM Punk with a backhand fist right to his face, knocked him out early on before the match even started. It was not a wrestling match. That was a fight. This was supposed to be a fight, and it disappointed in that respect, in the build respect. I love Becky Lynch might be the best pound-for-pound wrestler, performer, overall package in professional wrestling there is right now. She very well might be the best all-around person in the ring, outside the ring, all that stuff. Charlotte Flair, hard to say she ever has a bad match. And this was not a bad match, but my, oh my, Trevor, was I underwhelmed by this.
It was close to it. For Charlotte, it was close to a bad match. And like I said before the show started, it even what really made me mad was the fact that the ending exclusive so-called interview that Becky did after the match would have helped sell this match and still help sell the match like it was the best fight ever. Would have helped sell even better.
What was the interview?
If it was a fight. So the interview, she's walking through the ring, walking through the backstage, and they're asking her asking Becky how she felt after the match. She's emotional, damn near tears, saying, "Oh, this Charlotte was my friend. Me and Charlotte shared so many things together. We almost died in a car accident together. Like we've been through so much, and now the only thing I want to do when I see her is rip her fucking head off." And that would have helped even make the fact that you guys just went out there for like 20 minutes and fought even better. But no, you had that ending interview and the match was just a wrestling match. I think it was a great promo that helped sell a mediocre match, even after it was over.
I want is it bad that I want these matches to be good and make sense? Is that a bad thing? Like I'm being so serious. Is that a bad thing?
No, honestly, no. But like, I think at this point, and this is an honest critique, an honest opinion. I think at this point, we're looking at certain situations to be here, certain wrestling matches or things to be here, and they're here, which the average today wrestling fan is okay with that because it still was action. It still was action filled. It still was good. It was still good spots throughout the match, but it wasn't what it was sold to be, and that's where we are. We're here where it wasn't sold to be this okay, pretty good wrestling match with two great performers. We were sold. It was sold to us to be a blood feud. These two can't stand each other. They've had actual heat. We're gonna see a shoot.
Charlotte shot on Becky in the middle of a title ceremony. She threw the title away. Like,
we're expecting something totally different that we're not gonna get now.
And they go out there and have a wrestling match?
No, that's what I'm saying. We're expecting something totally different that we're not gonna get.
I moving on. Jeez, just moving on. Next match up. Oh my God. Gee. Okay. The 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series elimination match. Seth Rollins was the sole survivor. My name is Seth Rollins. I was the sole survivor. Seth Team Raw won. Trevor, what did you think about this match?
How did they made someone with so much talent and so much charisma this annoying, whiny piece of garbage that I see on my
because
screen?
My name is Seth Rollins.
And that's not and Seth, if you're watching, that has nothing to do with your talent. I think you're, like I said before, so much talent, so much charisma. I watched you before you, Seth Rollins. But what they're doing with your character is downright criminal. And this match was just even worse. And I don't care who won. I didn't care who won. It was a match.
You know what would have made more sense for these 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches? You know what would have made a lot of sense? Don't put the Royal Rumble stakes on the line. Don't put any of that stuff on the line. Say that the team members who win each get $100,000 for representing their brand. Give me... Okay, WWE is not a wrestling company. Fine, boom. They are a content creator. They make movies. They have actors, superstars, not wrestlers. Fine. I've understood that, and I'm fine with that. You know what actors ask themselves to get into scenes, Trevor? You know what they ask the directors? What's my motivation?
Exactly.
If you don't have a motivation to win, what the hell is this here? They're all fighting each other too. I don't understand it. You don't think that if $100,000 were on the line, you don't think that Sheamus and Jeff Hardy would get along for $100,000 for one match?
I mean, you understand how poor the company is going through budget cuts. They don't have the money.
Yeah, you're going through budget cuts. They can afford Cleopatra's $100 million egg. Wow.
I mean, Cleopatra's 20-cent egg. Anyway.
Moving on. Team Raw won that. Oh, and then this one. Speaking of promising, overpromise, underdeliver. So, did you know that The Rock was originally planned to be at this event?
Yeah, I did hear rumors about that. As of,
I believe it was like July, August, he was supposed to be here. He was supposed to be promoting this movie. He was supposed to be, doing a whole hullabaloo and setting up a feud with Roman Reigns. Due to scheduling conflicts, that didn't happen. So the entire night, they're showing these vignettes of The Rock, right? Of like The Rock's and his best moments. And you know what they do to start off with it? It was really trolly to the fans in the arena. They start playing The Rock's music with his like Titantron in the arena. So the fans are like, oh shit, The Rock's here. And then it's just like, the Peter Mivey, the grandson of High Chief Peter Mivey. It's like JR in 1997 introducing The Rock. And it's just like highlights and stuff like that. And people are just like, oh, boo. It
You're
sucks.
Like, you suck.
So part of this was the fact that they had a 25-man dual branded battle royal to celebrate The Rock's 25th anniversary, which okay, you're gonna at least have like a rock cup or like literal rock that people can has something people can win. Whatever.
Right.
Okay. No. Okay. Cool. Trevor, you know what made no sense about this 25-man dual branded battle royal?
Most of it.
Well, yeah. Other than that, but okay, there's a few points that I have here. Number one, okay, it's a dual branded thing on Survivor Series. The whole point of Survivor Series is Raw versus SmackDown, right?
Right.
Yet this match was every man for himself. So you had SmackDown guys eliminating SmackDown guys, Raw guys eliminating Raw guys. Why are they wearing their shirts? Why are they wearing their brand shirts? Why they're not representing their brand? That make no sense. Like, it doesn't take too much to think about it. And on top of all of that, 25 is an odd number, Trevor. You can't split that evenly. So there were obviously either more Raw guys or more SmackDown guys. Omos won, by the way. Big shout out to Omos. Glad he won. Also, big shout out to Shanky, who deserved to get a much bigger reaction when he stood face to face with Omos, but he didn't because the fans in Barclays Center are terrible, and they look down upon the people from Punjab. All right, but. Anything on this match, Trevor? I went on my.
It happened. It happened. I saw it. It happened.
Let's go to the chat real quick. Get some semblance of logic from Cincy here. Let's see. He says Raw was better with Vinnie Mac. Oh, we'll get to that, Cincy. We'll get to that. Cleopatra's egg. We'll get to that. Since he also says Damian Priest became a psychopath, he ain't no priest no more, and Charlotte is boring.
Can't lie.
Moving on.
But yeah.
Moving on. This match, Randy Orton. So it was RK Bros and versus the Usos, the Raw Tag Team Champions versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Fine enough match. This was Randy Orton, I believe, his 171st pay-per-view match in history. He passed Kane for most pay-per-view matches in WWE history all time. Great moment for Randy. Glad for him, happy for him, and all that. The only memorable thing from this match was the ending, where I believe Jimmy Uso went up for a frog splash off the top rope. Randy Orton countered it into an RKO. 1, 2, 3. RK Bros are victorious in this match. Trevor, what do you got?
Decent match, a fine enough match. It was decent. It was good filler. It happened. Good for Randy, you know.
What's your motivation? That's what I need to know. What's your motivation to do this show?
Getting through the Survivor Series thing.
Honestly, this was I was like, let's get through this first, and just because I was like, this is it's kind of like Roman Reigns. So it's the main event. It's either going on first or it's going on last.
It pretty much, you know. And the thing is, I am motivated. Like I said, I was getting over a cold or whatever. I'm glad to be here with you guys, but this part is just.
Dude, reviewing these WWE shows can be absolutely brutal sometimes.
It definitely can.
It's okay, though. We only have a few matches left here. Let's move on and talk about the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination match, where Team Raw and their sole survivor was Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, no longer the BEST of WWE because she lost her belt. We'll talk about that at a later time. She was a sole survivor for Team Raw. I thought this match was better than the men's match for sure. Probably top 3 on this card. I don't know what that means, but it was what it was. Was not glad to see that Toni Storm didn't get much, that Shotzi Blackheart, actually, and Toni Storm didn't do much in this match, honestly. Shayna Baszler as well didn't do much. It was basically Sasha. It was built around the whole thing of seeing Sasha and Bianca kind of like in the ring together. That was a fine, cool moment.
Right.
But yeah, what'd you think about this match?
You kind of share my same sentiments. I thought it was an okay match. Out of the matches here, I thought it was like top three. Um, it was good to see Bianca Belair in the spotlight again, like on a pay per view like that. That was good to see. I would have enjoyed seeing Shotzi or especially Tony Storm, some of the big talents like that. But other than that, it was a decent match.
Yep. Glad to see Bianca finally getting a win, but they gave her a win in a thing that didn't even matter.
It didn't
So
matter. Yeah. So
all love to Bianca Belair, hoping, praying she main events WrestleMania again because I just run it back. We have Sasha win the title from Charlotte at some point, and have Bianca win the Royal Rumble again and challenge Sasha Banks
yeah,
again, and just do that. Just do it. Do it. It was a great match last year.
it was a
Great
great
main event
match
last
last
year.
year.
Do it again. Run it back. Everyone wants to see it. We didn't get it at SummerSlam. I didn't get it at SummerSlam. I want to see it.
Yeah,
And
it was a great match. It was an amazing match.
Somewhere backstage, Vince is clutching his egg and going, "No, you're gonna get Dana Brooke versus
Reggie.
Carmella for a title unification match." Just, by the way, big shout out to Dana Brooke. Amazing shout out to Dana Brooke for winning the 24/7 title on Raw. I love that gimmick.
Awesome.
I love the gimmick
Amazing.
of female superstars winning it, and then male superstars being afraid.
Just don't.
And then I think they did with Maria Kanellis a while ago while she was pregnant, and she just goes right at the Titus O'Neil and she's holding up the title, and she's like, "What are you gonna do, Titus? You gonna hit a pregnant woman?" I was like, "Yo, that's wild."
That's hilarious.
Oh my
Such
god.
a great gimmick.
Oh, it was great. I don't know about great, but it was entertaining. It was entertaining.
WWE, it was pretty good.
Good is subjective. Moving on to something that I think everyone thought was good. The big showdown between the final boss, Roman Reigns, and the power. What are they calling him now? The powerful powerhouse.
Something like that. Something.
The power of positive. The positive powerhouse, whatever his name is. Big E took on Roman Reigns, Universal Champion versus WWE. I just pulled a Michael Cole, WWE Champion. Really good match. It was hard hitting. Two huge behemoths of human beings just bam, flash, just smashing into each other. It was like a little comic book. They tore up the side of the ring, or they tore up like the outside. They did a lot of fun stuff with the stairs, and Roman, as he does, Roman shows up, wins, lol, in 21 minutes. What did you think about this main event?
I thought it was a good one. Honestly, I thought it was actually very entertaining, and they did a good job of not making Big E look weak. Which was my fear from the get-go. And they did a very good job of making him look like a strong champion. I mean, the truth of the matter is most people lose against the against the last boss. So there you go. But it was a good match.
You know who doesn't lose to Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns.
Finn Balor. Except that last time he lost to Roman Reigns. Shit. Oh my god. I scrubbed Extreme Rules 2021 completely out of my memory, and now it's back, and I'm like, oh wow, they ruined it. Finn Balor was like the one guy that Roman Reigns had never beaten, and then they were just like, they gave that away on TV. Actually, you remember that? They gave that away on TV. And then he's like, I'm gonna bring back the demon. Oh, God, that was bad. I'm so sorry to everyone in Ireland. That was not a good impression of Finn Balor.
There are people pissed off at you right now.
There's people pissed off at me everywhere. But let's go to the chat real quick, where the people are hopefully not as pissed off at me. Kervin Abreu says, Again, nah, bros. Somebody new got to win the Royal Rumble. I believe he's talking about when I said Bianca Belair should win the Royal Rumble. Trevor, who do you think should win the Royal Rumble?
Just in general, or for the women's title?
Yes.
Okay. You have so many talent on both sides. A good talent to win would be Tony Storm. That'd be a good one. Shotzi would be a good one. um,
Who, pal? What about Charlotte? Has she won it yet? How many Royal Rumbles can Charlotte win in a year? We're gonna have her win 4.
a 7. 7,000. Let's
Seven.
make her win them all.
7. Wait. Oh my God. You know Charlotte. I'm so sorry. I'll get. You can answer it, but you know Charlotte
I got you.
won the Royal Rumble and then challenged for the NXT title, and WWE just recently said, "Hey, that title reign doesn't count as one of her like women's title reigns."
Of course it doesn't.
So again, I say nothing matters.
Nothing
Also,
matters
Curvin Abreu just put it in the chat. Tamina.
Yeah.
If not now, when?
Because her window is dwindling. It is. It definitely is. I agree. Tamina's a good one. But Tamina honestly should have won 8 years ago. But yeah. But for the thing.
We got a left
Tony
technical
Storm,
difficulties.
shots. Her name. Oh, I figured that. Are we good? Are we still?
I don't know, man. You're having internet problems on your end. I'm checking mine. Mine's fine.
Just fine. I don't know what's mine going on here.
You got to get yeah. Real Take Wrestle Talk brought to you by RCN Internet. The only thing available in DC.
Hey, we don't have RCN.
Oh God, you wish you did now, didn't you?
But yeah. So for the women, Shotzi, Tony Storm. For the men, who knows? Yeah. No, I don't want to see Seth Rollins win it right now.
Again.
I would say Finn Balor, but he's not going to get the belt, so there's no point. So who knows at this point?
Who knows? The only thing I know is if you haven't hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, you should. Please do. Please do. Please help us out, and also help out all of the people that WWE have cut since April of 2020. Now, I believe over 150 or approaching 150 people have been cut by WWE since the pandemic began. And this past week, they had another round of cuts. I covered it in a live stream and a podcast earlier this week when it happened. It's been a busy week in wrestling, and you can tell by the fact that I literally forgot about this to put this in the show up until I think an hour ago. I forgot to put this in the show. Like that's how I was like, oh my God, we had a round of cuts. Yep, so we got to talk about it. So WWE released about 8 superstars this week I believe 9 superstars, I should say. WWE released more superstars this week in even more cuts in addition to the ones they had just 2 weeks ago. The list includes John Morrison. Oh my God. There we go. So this week, WWE released John Morrison, Tegan Knox, all 3 remaining members, I should say, of Hit Row, including Ashante the Adonis, Top Dollar, and Swerve Scott, former NXT North American Champion. Drake Maverick was also cut again. Shane Thorne was cut. And finally, Jackson Riker. These cuts come, again, just 2 weeks after the most recent round of cuts where we saw people like Nia Jax and others released. And it just looks like WWE, once again, kind of trimming out the extra pieces, you could say. Trevor, I talked about this at length and for a while this past week. What was your reactions to these cuts? We'll go through them individually in a little bit, but what was your initial reactions to these recent round of cuts?
Unfortunately, at this point, I'm not shocked anymore. Honestly, it's getting to be like routine at this point. I was just like, who is it? Oh, that sucks, and kind of went on about my day. Like it's sad, but it's really nothing you can do about it, and it's just getting more and more like annoying at this point.
Yeah, it was just bad. I mean, it's a bad look considering WWE just this past week on Survivor Series, after cutting these people, Vince trotted out an egg worth $100 million and then
Right.
threatened to fire people on air. I'm just like, yep,
Terrible
okay,
taste.
sure. Yep, terrible taste, especially considering, hey, you might as well fire them. You fired everyone else, basically. But, again, my reactions, and again, if you haven't already seen it, I did a full podcast in the archives of YouTube, and it's all over everywhere else. Why are you interrupting me? Don't interrupt me, sir. But it was all over. Like, you guys can check that out in my specific thoughts on that. But I thought that this was just another line in what WWE's going to do. They said a while ago that this is what they were going to do. They were going to get rid of pieces that were expendable. They were going to get younger. And you can kind of see that in this recent round of cuts, although some of these might contradict. We'll get into those in just a second. But the biggest surprise to me in this round of cuts was the fact that they had some of these people on TV recently. And I mean, and again, I shouldn't be surprised by that because this has happened before, but Hit Row were literally cutting promos the week before on SmackDown, and now they're gone. They were cutting promos on Raw, like or about Raw. Like, it was just, I don't get it. I just don't understand why you would put your creative and your TV in that type of hole. Doesn't make sense. It also, again, I've been saying this for the past year and a half. It tells your fans that you should not give a shit. And if you're not going to give a shit, why should they? But that's it for me. Let's go through these kind of one by one, I guess, and take it from there. The first person we're going to talk about, John Morrison, formerly John Hennigan, formerly Johnny Nitro, formerly Johnny Impact. Johnny Dynamite? Yeah? Who knows? Who knows? What did you think about John Morrison's release and his run in WWE as a whole?
In a whole, he's had a great run in WWE.
Or his recent run, I should say.
His recent run, I thought, was lackluster, especially based on his talent. John Morrison has always been a very talented performer. I've always enjoyed watching him perform. I thought this go round was very lackluster, and to me, this honestly is shameful as it is. The way it was done, this actually might be a blessing in disguise for his career.
Yeah, I mean, from a creative standpoint, this is probably some of the worst work he's done. But from an in-ring standpoint, I thought he had some great matches. John Morrison had some amazing in-ring matches that, granted, didn't matter because there were no stakes. But just he showed that he belonged in WWE the entire time and probably was deserving of a bigger push throughout his tenure in WWE. It didn't materialize, to say the least. He was out there, instead of, going for championships, what was he doing? He was squirting water with The Miz and doing all that
drip,
crap. Johnny Drip. And then Seth Rollins stole his gimmick. He's like, I'm the drip god. But no, I mean, I thought he was solid. He filled his role. They wanted him to be The Miz's heater. That's what they wanted him to be. They wanted him to be the guy with The Miz because that's all they know him to be. That's all they want him to be. That's all they care about him for. And he filled that role. Taya Valkyrie, of course, had some comments, as Kervin just said in the chat, where she basically just said, fuck WWE on Twitter. It was like very, very, not out there, just very upfront about it, I should say. She basically also has been echoing what a lot of fans have been saying. You don't care about that. WWE doesn't care about the wrestlers. That WWE doesn't care about creative. They don't care about families, and it's all true. It's all true. And I think these recent round of cuts, it doesn't prove it because it was proven 5 cuts ago. It's just more icing on the cake. It's like we're just filling up more and more whipped cream on that cake or on that ice cream or whatever. But that's it. Tegan Knox, man, Tegan Knox cut, and Tegan has had she's had such a great run, or she's had such a great return. I want to say she had those 2 really bad knee injuries during her tenure in NXT. She came back. She had a hot angle at her last few months in NXT, and then they took her off TV
Yeah,
and brought her up to the main roster with Shotzi. Nothing materialized out of that. She was drafted to, I believe, Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm
She was
not even
drafted.
sure at this point.
No, she was drafted to Raw because Shotzi went to SmackDown. So she was drafted to Raw. People were like, okay, cool. She's going to do her own thing. Didn't really see her much. She's gone. Wasted talent. I believe she's young, too. She's just in her 20s. I don't understand why they would get rid of her, but I don't know. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, again, I thought it was a shame. This name actually did shock me. This is one of the few names that did shock me. Like you mentioned, those two really bad injuries she had she came back. It's so much you could do with her. You do so much with her. I just don't understand. Like this is another one of those things you just don't understand. Like you have all these talented performers, talented wrestlers that you don't use. Like you can do literally almost anything with Tegan Knox. Like and it'll sell because she has that to use a very overused term, je ne sais quoi that you look for in a wrestler, and she has it. She definitely does. It's just use it right. It's a shame. It's a shame too.
Yep, damn shame. She's gonna be, I think, a coveted free agent for whoever is gonna try to pick her up. I think. Then we'll talk about that in just a second too. The amount of free agents there are, and they got 3 more with Hit Row all being cut. We talked about B-Fab just 2 weeks ago being cut, and now we have all 3 members: Top Dollar, Swerve Scott for some ungodly reason getting cut, and of course Santi the Adonis. We know that Top Dollar was very outspoken about B-Fab getting cut, and he was not happy about that. Apparently, all of Hit Row were not happy about that. It was reported that Top Dollar went up to the office or talked to people at the office and complained about that and stood up for B-Fab, which you don't do in WWE because they'll do something like this. They will fire you for speaking up and speaking out on this type of things because that's how they do business. They don't care about you. They don't care about the wrestling. They don't care about their fans. They don't care about this sense of family that they say they have. They only care about their bottom line. They are a corporation, not a collaborative effort. And I think a lot of people need to understand that. And I'm all for what Top Dollar did. It's just you do that with the understanding that you're probably going to be fired. We saw what happened to Zelina Vega last year. You know, she was able to come back, but we saw what happened. That's what happens with this company. They don't care. They truly do not give a shit. And and honestly, it makes people as fans less likely to care as well. But they're gone. Swerve Scott, another former North American champion, done with the company. We talked about Karrion Kross before. We talked about Adam Cole, baby, being gone. What's his name? Keith Lee, gone. Former North American champion. Now Swerve Scott. What do you think about Hit Row being released, Trevor?
Swerve Scott. Hit Row. So what really didn't make any sense to me, you're getting rid of this team that you just took off NXT and brought up here. That really just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Let's ignore the fact that you get rid of Swerve Scott, who is quite possibly one of the most talented wrestlers I've seen, especially indie wrestlers, in a while. Like I saw him live maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it's ridiculous. Adonis as well, and you probably know Adonis. He's a local boy. He went to Maryland University.
Go Terps.
Played for the Redskins, And it doesn't make any sense. All of the three of these guys, four, including the fourth member, will have prominent careers in anywhere they go. But this is just stupid. It makes no sense.
Makes absolutely no sense. Drake Maverick was also let go, as well as Shane Thorne. You might know him as Slapjack from Retribution, and good old Jackson Riker, who they couldn't get over. We'll talk about Jackson Riker in more in depth in just a second. With this most recent round of cuts, of course, comes the idea of WWE possibly selling, WWE possibly inflating their stock price. Actually, it's not even possibly. I talked about this. They are definitely inflating their stock price. They're trying to make the stock price go up by trimming off all the contracts they can every single quarter. And that's part of how they make money now, by getting rid of contracts, which it's doing what they want. The end game might not be so clear. I don't know whether they're selling. I would imagine if they were going to do something like that, it would be more so of like a merger type of thing.
Right.
And another thing that was clear about these cuts, Sean Ross Sapp talked about it, and it's the only reason I'm bringing it up. We are probably as close as we will ever be to Triple H possibly leaving WWE.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think, and I'm only talking about, I'm one of those people, I didn't believe it until like Sean Ross Sapp brought it up. And I'm not saying he didn't report anything. I want to make that clear. He didn't report that that was going to happen. But when someone, like, I think, whose wrestling opinion and whose wrestling knowledge I kind of respect and know is rooted in such a knowledgeable place, says that, it kind of does make even someone like me pause. So I think that could be a possibility, honestly, that Triple H eventually could possibly work outside of WWE. Hell, Shane left. That's something I didn't even think about. Shane left. He left WWE and did his own thing. Triple H could do his own thing in wrestling. He could start his own wrestling promotion. We didn't even talk about this, Trevor. So much talent has either been let go or will be let go, with Ring of Honor shutting down. All of those contracts are going to be available. With all the people that WWE have cut over the past 2 years, basically. All the amazing free agents out there, MLW cutting people. There's going to be a need for another wrestling company. There is a need for another wrestling company. And there are a few names that are out there. There's, of course, Jeff Jarrett, because he's someone who knows how to run a wrestling company. He started TNA, also started GFW, which we will not talk about, because that turned somehow into a cash for gold scheme. He also, and then the other route are, maybe outside investors, getting those people involved. The other route was Triple H. I think there is a universe that is possible now where Triple H leaves WWE, because his entire legacy, the legacy that Triple H built as a promoter, as a creative mind in WWE, is gone. Absolutely gone. NXT is gone. Even the legacy of NXT that would live on into WWE with the call-ups, basically gone. He has destroyed Triple H's legacy in NXT. Sorry, they have in WWE. Have destroyed Triple H's legacy in WWE and NXT. And you look at the other people whose contracts are coming up: Kevin Owens, Kyle O'Reilly, Sami Zayn, a lot of other NXT talents. And you look at everyone who's been cut or gone: Adam Cole, baby, gone; Bobby Fish, gone; Karrion Kross, gone; Keith Lee, gone. Everyone, it seems, that Triple H invested time in NXT is just gone. And I think we are as close as ever to a universe where Triple H just says, okay, I'm fine. I love you, Pop, as he would say to Triple H. And he would just go, and he might start his own wrestling company. That is something I could when I think about it, I could seriously see Triple H doing. Because you know what, Trevor? It's not like he doesn't have the money for it.
Exactly.
The dude's worth multi tens of millions of dollars. Right. He knows he has connections. He can get the right people and the money in the right places. He could make it happen. I think it is a question of that loyalty to Vince and that loyalty to WWE, and what that is. That loyalty to Stephanie McMahon as well, who's still a chief executive in WWE. how much it's weighing those things. And I think that Triple H is someone who's going to think about that like in a tactical, I should say, way, and I think it's out there. I think it is possible that this could happen over the next year or two.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even think about. Like you said, you mentioned it, but it's something that could highly happen. It's highly possible. Like he has the mindset, he has the money. He like you said, he's a very smart individual. I'm sure if he did something like that, he would have several different partners. I wouldn't be surprised if he took Sean with him. Because they successfully ran NXT together. It's one of those things that you're like, oh, it's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility with so many veteran retired wrestlers who still have that itch to be in wrestling somehow. It doesn't like boggle the mind to me that would be something that could happen. Hell, you couldn't even see Jimmy Cornette taking a hand at it again.
Who's gonna give that man money? Who's gonna be like, I know what a good investment is. I'm gonna, hey, Mr. Cornette, do you want my money? You goddamn right I do, you fucking piece of shit. Like, imagine working with Jim Cornette. Be business person. I would love to be business person with Jim Cornette, by the way. He's not getting any of my money. I will gladly handle all of his money, and he's not getting any of my money.
I don't have any to give him, so it'll be worth.
Yeah, man. Just like, well, goddamn, motherfucker, how much you got? $20? Well, I can make that work, motherfucker.
He's not Virgil now.
Oh no, Virgil will deny you service. If it's like pictures $20. I got 10. Come back with the rest. Turns around, runs away. That's how Virgil does business, people.
It's hilarious.
You know, remember Virgil with man, this guy, Yakazami. Who is this guy? Lord Alfred? It's like Yokozuna, sir. It's Yokozuna.
Oh, something very interesting. Did you you mentioned Drake Maverick was talking about cuts. Did you see his promo that he pretty much redid?
Oh, it was really good.
Good.
I'm excited. Dude, hey, to quote Ethan Carter III, control the narrative, my friend. And that is exactly what Drake Maverick is doing.
Absolutely.
Anyway, speaking of narratives, let's get to a really shit one now. This is where I eat my words about this egg thing. My God. I cannot believe I fell for that. I got worked, people. I 100% got worked. I want it to be known. I got worked by WWE, and I am not afraid to say it. So, the mystery of the missing egg is the thing that basically... What?
That's this is hilarious.
Man, you got to work on your internet, my friend. You really got to work on your internet. Like, it is bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the mystery of the missing egg.
Right? I'm listening.
Absolutely terrible tonight because it's like interrupting me. The mystery of the missing egg was the thing that basically controlled the narrative of SummerSlam. Oh my God, SummerSlam. See, now you're messing me up, son. You goddamn motherfucker, you're messing me up. I'm trying to cut a promo here. Anyway, guys, I got worked. I got 100% worked by WWE. I was all in on this missing egg thing. I'm not even going to lie to you. And look, when I explain why, please hear me out, all right? So, let's break it down. This whole egg thing, let's break it down from start to finish. It's Survivor Series. It is The Rock's 25th anniversary of his debut. Vince McMahon arrives at Survivor Series in his stretch limo, as he does, with all of the people in the 24/7 open challenge, all cheering him on, clapping, all of that jazz. And he comes out holding an egg, as you can see right here. He holds this golden egg, and everyone's wondering, what the hell is that? Everyone's oohing and awing. And we get to another segment, and Vince says that the egg was a gift from The Rock, and it belonged to Cleopatra. This was Cleopatra's egg, worth $100 million that Vince McMahon was just carrying around in his hands with like virtually no guarded security. That was a gift from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And he just has sitting in his office. All right, my immediate thoughts. This is dumb. But this is like brilliant levels of dumb. Like they're gonna do. My thing is, I was like, oh, at this point, they're gonna do something hilarious with this egg. The egg gets stolen. I'm like, oh, yep, they're gonna do something hilarious with the egg. And I'm like, cool. And I mean hilarious in the bad way. I'm like, this is gonna be so bad that I'm gonna laugh my ass off. That's what I was expecting. So the egg goes missing. Vince is pissed. And you know what he says? He says, we're gonna set up a whodunit. Tomorrow night on Raw, you're going to find out who stole my egg. And they're going to have Raw superstars, SmackDown superstars. All are going to be there in the Barclays Center tomorrow night live on USA Network. He set it up. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. We're getting a Raw Super Show. Roman Reigns is going to be there. Charlotte Flair is going to be there. It's going to be a great night. So Monday night arrives, and here I am thinking there's going to be superstars everywhere. And the whole whodunit, everyone's going to be surrounding the ring. Vince is going to be cutting a promo to open the show. I was thinking Leslie Nielsen from what was it? SummerSlam 1994. That's what I was thinking about this. Instead, we go to a backstage pre-recorded segment where Vince tells Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce that anyone who finds the egg is going to be handsomely rewarded with money or a WWE title match with Big E. And then you cue to all of the 24/7, the 24/7 championship contenders. They're all like tearing up the backstage catering area. I'm like, where do you think the egg's gonna be? Like, someone stole it. It's not gonna be under catering. Like, that's the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, okay, so everyone's just looking dumb at this point. And I'm like, all right, cool, come on. There's still something we can do. There's still a payoff to this, right? There has to be a payoff to this. Because I was thinking, who done it? And then I was like, who better than Sami Zayn to crack the case? Sami Zayn says he knows who did it. And then the master of conspiracy theory brings in Austin Theory, and Theory admitted to stealing the egg with the dumbest explanation for any payoff in WWE history, saying that he wanted to take a selfie with it. Why would you steal the egg if you wanted to take a selfie with it? Just take a selfie with it and put it back down. But he said, no, there's security everywhere. I got scared. I'm like, dude, you stole the egg. You stole the egg. Security wouldn't have said anything to you if you just took a selfie with it, but you stole the egg. That was you didn't want to get in trouble? So Vince McMahon gets his egg back, and he looks at the selfie, and then he says, you know what? I'm dropping all charges. Because McMahon Night Shyamalan over here has to have a twist, right? So we get McMahon Night Shyamalan, he's like, you remind me of me. You remind me of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, damn it. You're getting the title match. Sammy, you're not getting shit. I hate snitches. That's exactly what happened. Go back and watch it. So Austin Theory stole this $100 million egg from Vince McMahon's office and gets rewarded with a WWE title match with Big E that lasted 8 minutes and ended in a screwy finish where Austin Theory was distracted by other people fighting each other on the outside of the ring. This is the worst payoff to anything. This is worse than Gobbledygooker. This is worse than the Gobbledygooker. This is much worse. At least at least Hector Guerrero, like that was like stupid. But this was like built up over like a day. I was expecting a super show. There were no SmackDown superstars on this show. What? Like what? Am I crazy, Trevor? I explained my reasoning. Am I crazy?
I knew you were going to be disappointed.
God.
I really did. I hope for your sake you wouldn't have been, but I knew you were going to be disappointed severely. Actually, like it's cool to have stuff like this every once in a while. It is. It's cool to have stuff like this every once in a while. It is, and it would have been hilarious to have a good payoff for it. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it. It's just not. It's not WWE anymore, and like senile Vince is not the same as old school fake crazy Vince.
Like, at least here's the thing with WWE. Half the time, what they do doesn't make sense in the end, right? Right?
No.
Okay. But at least then, like, out of the 40 dots that are on the page, they at least connect 20 of them. Nothing connected to anything they did. Vince said, there's going to be a super show, pal. We're going to have Raw superstars and SmackDown superstars. No SmackDown superstars in the show. Okay, cool. Vince says, we're going to do a whodunit. It was relegated to like 2 minutes, basically, out of the entire 3-hour show. And then he says, I'm going to give a WWE Championship match to whoever finds it. Sami Zayn literally brought him the egg and the culprit on a silver platter and says, Sammy, you don't get shit. Everyone hates snitches. I'm saying, I know they got paid a lot of money to do this angle, right? Because of The Rock's new movie. I know they got paid a lot of money. This is a company that prides itself on its creative process and on the fact that they are not a wrestling company. They're an entertainment company. Entertain me! Damn it! Entertain me! This is like... I'm expecting too much. I admit it. I expected. I'm sorry if I expected at least SNL levels of like comedy.
SNL really? No, really SNL.
SNL from WWE in 2021. That would be. You know how entertaining that would be to crap compared to the crap that they roll out every week.
Very entertaining. But I think you're aiming a little too high for SNL.
This is worse than like all that. Like I'm aiming for anything here. Give me all that levels.
At this point, all that is probably more affordable than SNL.
Oh my gosh! I don't even know anymore. What am I going to do?
Stimpy is probably more foreseeable than SNL at this point.
I got worked, and I'm not afraid to admit it. No one else should be as well. That's all I'm saying. Kervin Abreu in the chat says AEW Dynamite and Rampage need to be a different brand, 2 hours each for both. Nope, do not do that. No. They don't need a brand extension for that. They're not going to do that. Don't get caught into that.
That would ruin everything.
Nope, just make agreements with NWA, make agreements with Impact, make agreements with everyone else. Let's do interpromotional stuff.
Door open and let it go.
Keep that door wide the hell open. Guys, also leave that door open for this channel by hitting that like button, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Trevor, boy, oh boy, do we have something to talk about.
Yeah, this was interesting.
This was very, very interesting. So, for those of you guys who don't know, Seth Rollins was attacked on Raw, which is a big freaking deal. Insanely huge deal. I was so surprised when I saw this because I saw a glimpse of it live. You could see it partially live, but
yeah.
Anyway, let's get to it. Seth Rollins was attacked by a fan during Monday Night Raw. The fan, as you can see right here, basically tackled him to the ground, had got a running start from like 150 feet, took Rollins down. Rollins got him into a guillotine before referees and other officials and security could get a hold of the fan and hold him down and later arrest him. The 24-year-old fan has been charged with attempted assault, attempted violation of an arts and cultural event. Also for his attack on WWE wrestler Seth Rollins, as a report goes here, it says here, I should say. Per police, Rollins suffered swelling on his lip. He did have a busted lip after that. He refused medical attention. On top of all of that, there are unconfirmed reports that apparently this fan was catfished by someone appearing to be Seth Rollins, and this is what led to this attack. Again, unconfirmed reports. Take that with a massive grain of salt. But take this entire thing with a massive grain of assault, because that's what it was. Trevor, how utterly stupid was this?
This is completely stupid, mindless, and dumb. Made no fucking sense. Like and I hate to say it like this because I've seen stuff like this more happen in indie shows. If it was an indie show, it would have made a little more sense, but still no sense at all. But you see at indie shows, you see certain things like this. You see wrestlers getting in fights with fans, things like that. I mean, not as much anymore, but you see it. This makes absolutely no sense. You literally blindside a man who is on national TV. He's a star. Like, he has a security team. Like, well, how far did you think this was going to get you? Like, really? Like, you got 5 minutes of fame on TV, and now you're being charged for assault. You're an idiot, an absolute idiot. And whether or not, like you said, a grain of salt, but whether or not you thought that's what happened, do your research first before you go attacking a wrestler. Oh, he catfished me. I'm gonna go to the show and attack him. That's you're stupid. That's the dumbest shit ever. And to utter those words, you should be slapped. It's like, really, he deserves what he got. Because that's absolutely dumb. That's almost as dumb as Manti Te'o.
Oh, poor Manti. I want to speak very clearly to all wrestling fans out there. Everyone, whether you like WWE, AEW, Impact, whatever. Professional wrestling is a work.
Absolutely.
Pro wrestling is a work. It is entertainment. It is a sport, but it is a work. And if you can't understand that, maybe you shouldn't be watching wrestling. I will never understand what compels someone. Okay. It is, if you're going to do what, people do during the Super Bowl, right? They run to the stadium, they streak, and they do their thing, they get arrested. I still think it's pretty dumb, but no one gets hurt except for them. Like virtually no one gets hurt. They're just doing that. They're doing their fun. It's harmless in a way, right? Okay, whatever. I'm not as mad at that. I don't really care about that, honestly, because that's on kind of your problem. When you go and attack someone, it becomes completely different deal. Because what would compel you? This is the thing, I said this on last night's stream, right? What in God's name would compel anyone to attack someone who is bigger than you,
right,
faster than you, surrounded by dozens and dozens of security at a public event where you're going to get arrested? Exactly. What would compel you to do this other than just sheer stupidity? Yeah. Like, this is the most idiotic thing ever. If you are a fan and you ever think about doing it, don't do it. If you're a fan and you're having a few drinks and you're ever thinking about, what if I go there and rush it? Don't do it. Don't do it. You know why? Because not only are you going to probably get your ass kicked, like this fan probably should have gotten his ass kicked had Seth Rollins if that referee doesn't get there, like within the first 2 seconds of that, Seth Rollins is like absolutely maiming that dude. Like, we saw what happened.
Actually better for him, probably.
Yeah, we saw what happened to that asshole who did the thing to Bret Hart, who tackled him during the Hall of Fame speech. What happened? You had UFC fighters coming into the ring, Ronda Rousey and her husband, coming in and beating the shit out of this dude. And then Cash Wheeler, literally, as he's being dragged away, what does he do? He comes up to the side of him, bam, knocks him right out.
Yep.
What would, after seeing that, knowing that has happened, what would compel you to do this? It's stupid, moronic on so many levels. Fans, don't do it. It is the stupidest thing you can do at an event like this. Literally, jumping the railing to fight athletes who literally fight. What do you want to say it's a work for or not, but for a living? Seth Rollins, I don't care what you want to say, he can kick your ass. Especially, I saw the look of this guy. Seth Rollins could totally take this guy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like, it's and you mentioned one case, and I mean, we can mention tons of cases, but another one where it was Triple H and Stone Cold wrestling. Homeboy came into the ring and Triple H gave him an ass beating. Oh, elbow dropped him, like kicked him, beat the shit out of him. But at that point, they invaded their space. That's what should happen. At that point, that should happen. You're defending yourself at this point. It's it's a work, like you said. It is a work, and as a fan, you're there to enjoy the show. You're there to participate verbally and like wave your hands. Like if you're close enough to be near a fan, touch them. But you're not at any point during the show, or should you think you should be able to, are you able to physically harm someone who is out there performing for you and physically harming themselves, putting this body through hell, so you can come out there and attack them? It's stupid. Anyone that does it deserves what they get, and hopefully none of our fans do it.
24. Here's what I'm saying. I'm 24 years old, dude. Imagine being charged with something at that young of an age for something this stupid, this utterly stupid. Like, this is not like a case of, oh, well, you know, he did it this is not a crime out of necessity. This is literally a crime out of luxury. You paid like a lot of money, because those tickets for Raw were not cheap, my friend.
But
for the Barclays Center, they were not cheap.
Especially
you paid
what
all
he
that money. You paid all that money, and you jumped the railing, and you tried to attack Seth Rollins. He got you in a guillotine, and had the referee not gotten there within the 2 seconds,
probably would have choked you out.
He would have choked you out, would have beat the shit out of you. And all these people out there, by the way, who were saying that, oh, Seth Rollins got taken down by a fan and blah, 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 and he's not tough.
He did exactly what
my
he was
G,
to do.
my G. Just, if Rudy Charles might have saved that guy's life.
He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Referee Rudy Charles might have saved that guy's life. Like,
Seth Rollins did exactly what you're supposed to do. He fell with him to avoid injury and locked on that guillotine. He would have choked him the fuck out.
Self-defense, man.
Like, it's just, like I said, I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't have happened, and that kid deserves everything he gets.
Speaking of a dead horse, someone's WWE career is pretty much dead. Jackson Riker. So, guys, Jackson Riker, of course, was released with his most recent round of cuts. He was formerly, of course, part of the Forgotten Sons, and here's this interesting report. So, apparently, prior to his WWE release this past week, Jackson Riker had major backstage heat. This is according to Fightful Select. So, according to this report from Fightful Select, Riker, along with Wesley Blake, Steven Cutler, initially debuted on WWE as the Forgotten Sons, but the entire stable had been taken off of TV following continuous tweets from Jackson Riker in support of former President Donald Trump during the Black Lives Matters movement and the George Floyd-related protests last year. The report indicates that many backstage had an issue with how both Blake and Cutler had been taken off TV for something that Riker had done, only for Riker to return to TV and to WWE shows and get even a little bit of a push while his stablemates basically did nothing. And this makes a solid point. So not only for Riker was there the heat of what he said. We know Mustafa Ali came out and was disgusted by Riker's comments at the time. Kevin Owens as well. Multiple other superstars. Even Hangman Adam Page got in on the action. But bigger than that, people resented the fact, and I think deservedly so, that Jackson Riker, after having all this heat, and basically destroying and killing the whatever the Forgotten Sons were going to be, he was the one, even though he did the bad thing, he was the one to get the push while his stablemates got nothing. What do you kind of make of this news, of this heat? That
he didn't deserve that at all. He didn't deserve to be the one pushed when he was the one that made the slurs. I was actually surprised that he was still there. Anyway, me and you have been talking about Jackson Riker for a while and how we don't understand why he's still, anything in WWE. But he wasn't really even the most talented out of the stable. Like, it would make sense if he was, but he wasn't. So to keep him over them, it doesn't make sense at all. It just goes to show you how much of a piece of shit the entity known as WWE has turned into.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing to say the least, right? Because usually in I guess just places in the just world, if you you do a bad thing that upsets, the people you work with, that upsets community around you, and costs your teammates or whatever, or causes them problems, you would hope that the teammates wouldn't suffer for that. But that's exactly what happened here. The teammates, their push, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, no one talks about them. You know why? Because their push died the day Jackson Riker sent those tweets. And what did Jackson Riker do? Jackson Riker came back after 6 months, did a, honestly, kind of tasteless PTSD storyline. I understand that he was formerly in the Army and all that, and, that might lend him some leeway with that, but still, I didn't like the way it came off. I didn't like the way it came off. He killed Elias, which is something the fans actually liked. Like that was the entire storyline. Like, he's the one who basically made Elias stop doing what he's doing. And again, that's more creative than Jackson Riker specifically. But he got this push. He got so much TV time over the past few months. And you could tell that he wasn't getting over. You could tell after the Thunderdome stopped, what happened, Trevor? No one was cheering for this guy because Kevin Dunn didn't have his finger on the button.
Nope.
Because no one cares. You don't make people care. He actually alienated a lot of the fan base the second he did that. Second he sent those tweets, made those statements. And I understand. Apparently he apologized to Mustafa Ali and others. And look, that is what it is. I genuinely hope that Jackson Riker is a better human being than he was a year ago. I genuinely hope that. I 100% hope that he has learned or whatever. But what I also hope is that if you are someone who has to suffer, if you work somewhere where you have to suffer for mistakes made by your teammates, right? And then your teammates don't have to suffer for the same mistakes. How does that make sense? That's what I want to know. How does that make sense at all?
It doesn't.
Doesn't at all. Again, genuinely, and I might even get some heat for this. I genuinely hope Jackson Riker becomes a better human being, or is a better human being than he was a year ago, and learns, because that's we should be hoping for that. We should be hoping for people to become better. That doesn't mean you forgive. That doesn't mean you forget. It just means you want society as a whole to learn and get better. That's what we should want. Right. Again, O's aside, I don't know Jackson Riker personally. All I know is from what I've heard and what I see and what he said. And from what he said last year, not a fan. And honestly, from his work, I'll alienate all that. Alienate all of the BS on Twitter that he said last year. I'm not a fan of his promos. I'm not a fan of his in-ring work. The only thing that he has going for him is the look. That's about it, honestly.
He has the look down. But other than that, he's not a good performer at all.
Oof. Well, we'll save this one actually for we'll save this one for the last segment actually. Let's move on and talk about AEW, Trevor. We got some I want to say good news. We got some good news, right?
Yeah, right? I think so. Yeah,
we do have some good news. Trevor, we have some amazing news. Really good to hear this. Jon Moxley will return to in-ring action this week. Moxley will make his in-ring return on November 27th. New Japan Showdown will take place Saturday, November 27th. I believe in the 2300 Arena, formerly the ECW Arena. Don't quote me on that one. But the main event of the show will be Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston teaming up to take on Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer in a street fight. Oh my God. Suzuki-gun versus Moxie-gun. I cannot wait to see it. It is going to be crazy. Moxley, of course, has been out for the past number of weeks. He has been in inpatient rehab for various things he's been going through. We wish him well and glad to see that he's coming back. Hopefully everything's worked out and he's fine and he's at least on the way to recovery with all that ails him. But it looks like Mox is back. He's definitely healthier. And he's wrestling Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki in a rematch of their Grand Slam match. Trevor, how much has Mox been missed and what do we hope to see?
Mox has been very much missed by all of the hardcore Moxley fans and most of the AEW fans. And not just missed because of because of the fact he's a hell of a performer, great dude. It just the courage that it showed to do what he went through, what he's going through. You have recovering addicts, people who've been sober, and people who are going through certain things like himself that are outpours of that, and he deserves to be back. He deserves to be back in the spotlight. Congratulations to him, and hopefully, all the best in the future. Hopefully, they tear it up. Another good thing is to talk about is the fact that Lance Archer is back because he's been out for concussion. It's good to see Lance back. He took a really bad spill. It's really good to see him back too. So it's two things to celebrate, and I think it's good. I think they're going to tear the fucking house down. I think it's going to be a great match.
Minoru Suzuki versus Jon Moxley. Of course, it's going to be a good match. Throwing Eddie Kingston in there too. Throwing a little bit of Return of Lance Archer in there. Oh, buddy. I'm going to look up how to watch New Japan Showdown real quick. But in the meantime, I also want to say that, man, it's just, you know what? You don't get like these types of moments often in wrestling where you're happy to see someone kind of succeed in something that doesn't have anything to do with wrestling, Like when I heard this news of Mox, showing up for this New Japan show and this being his in-ring return, whether or not he returns to AEW, maybe this is like a one-off thing and he just kind of does it and goes off and take care of himself, and he has a family obviously, and maybe he'll come back to AEW in a few months or a few weeks, or who knows, maybe even next week, who knows. But regardless, man, oh man, I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy for Jon Moxley. I'm happy for his family. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't even know him, but I'm happy for him because it's something that's so relatable, I think, because we all know or have heard at least of people that we know who have gone through similar things, right? And I think that's kind of what brings people together in a way.
Yeah, definitely. A good friend of mine, actually, who's actually in the wrestling business, he was big on a lot of the party life without getting too into it, and lived his life that way for a while. And he decided like 3 years ago that this is what I'm going to do. He hasn't done anything for 3 years. He's on a straight edge kick. He's changed his diet. He's worked out, and those are the type of things you would like to see. You like to see things like that. It's all about feel good, and especially in this day and age, you want something to feel good about. You want to see happy things, because everything that you see and hear about is nothing but negativity and things like that. So you want to see feel good things, even if it's people that you know or people that you have a rapport with, people that you see on TV. You want to see good things happening, and this is great. This is amazing, and I think it's good to see.
Very true. And strictly from a pro wrestling fan standpoint, you know what the good thing about this is, Trevor? We're getting
Adam Page.
Ooh, you took the words right out of my mouth. Heel Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page in AEW.
To be fair, when I first discovered Jon Moxley, he was nothing but a heel. I didn't know face Jon Moxley until he was on WWE. Like, I have not seen a face Jon Moxley in my time of seeing him in the indies. Like when he was tag team with people and things. No, I've never seen a face Jon Moxley. It was unheard of. The only thing Jon Moxley face about Jon Moxley, he has to use okay if he's after he cut your head open. that's the nicest thing Jon Moxley ever did that I saw. But no, of heel Jon Moxley, I can't wait. Can't wait.
It's definitely gonna be better than a heel Dean Ambrose.
You smelly people. I need to get a shot because of you smelly, stinky marks.
Although, if he had said marks, It's total 180. That would have been amazing.
If he said Marks, I think it would have went on
Could you
better.
imagine John Moxley coming out every week? He's like, I'm sick of he being in this hot, sweaty arena with all this stanky breath, with all you marks.
And I also think it was bad taste too, because like that was pretty much the same week or same night, like that.
Same time.
Roman Reigns. It was terrible.
Yeah, if you don't know, go listen to the podcast with Jericho, baby. Not the one about conspiracy theories where he goes off on right-wing tangents. The one with Moxley. Oh my God. Hey man, Chris Jericho he's a curious individual, right? He's a curious guy.
Yes, it really is.
He's curious with a Q. Anyway, let's move on and talk about. Oh God, never getting those press passes ever again.
Ever.
Let's talk about AEW. Trevor. So let's talk about AEW here. There are a lot of contracts from WWE, from other promotions, including Ring of Honor, that are coming up now. We talked about Kevin Owens. We've talked about Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa possibly on that one. From Ring of Honor, just everyone, Bandito, KC, Danhausen, the Briscoes, just a plethora of talent just available now. AEW can only sign so many.
Right.
My question to you is, who should they sign?
If you're a promoter, if I'm a promoter and I'm looking at the rosters from all these people, not just ROH, but from people that were released from WWE as well. I'm looking from top to bottom. I'm looking for those standout stars. You know what I mean? That could possibly make my roster better. And to be fair, most of the superstars available could make almost any roster better, right? But like you said, you can only sign a few, and you need to look through with a fine-tooth comb and figure out the diamonds in the rough type situation, right? If I'm AEW, I'm big on tag team wrestling. The Briscoes are a must sign.
No.
A must sign. Like hands down, must sign. Also, I'm trying to make my women's division better. Quinn McKay, Willow, their champion. Like there are names that you can grab. Danhausen is to me is he. You got to sign Danhausen. He's a must have, right? He's
He's a merch machine.
Exactly.
That is just good business.
You have to grab him. You have to. Like, I mean, you understand the matches that you can have and have already had.
Oh, okay, I understand the match part because Danhausen's an underrated worker. Forget about the matches. Danhausen will literally pay for himself within like the first year. You got him because like the amount you can do, giving him that much of a platform on top of what he already has, on like and adding AEW's putting a rocket ship on him as far as marketing. That's a money sign right there.
The thing is, they're probably just gonna put a mic in his hand and tell him to talk.
Yeah, him and Abaddon, man. Him and Abaddon. The fans want it.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, those are just a few, but like, I'm curious to the ones that, of course, I'm curious to the ones that you would want to, because I know there are a few that I didn't mention that you have been advocates for a long time.
AEW is interesting, right? Because I feel like the way they kind of book a lot of their stables and everything, it opens them up to actually signing more talent, because you're not signing Bobby Fish and Adam Cole like just as individuals, right? You're not signing Bobby Fish to be just Bobby Fish. You're signing him to pair him up with Adam Cole. You wouldn't be signing Kyle O'Reilly just for Kyle O'Reilly, although you could do that. But you're signing him to be part of this group with Adam Cole and Bobby Fish, because the act of the Undisputed Era, or whatever they're going to be called in AEW, versus Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, that's a dream match, a dream feud. You can literally ride for a year if you wanted to. You could ride that out for a year if you wanted to, with the different match combinations. It would be a big money match, huge headlining match for a pay-per-view for a 6-man tag team match. You could totally headline a pay-per-view with that match. Given that, given, who else is available? Kevin Owens. And that's one that might take a little longer. But I think
even Omega has hinted to that too, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, the Mount Rushmore thing, but Owens is a big enough star. I think if Kevin Owens is there, you can sign him. It'll be okay. Trust me. Like the way they cycle talent in and out, it opens them up to doing more. And sometimes not everyone needs to be on. People have this weird obsession that I never understood. Everyone needs to be on TV every week. Hell, and I have WWE fans saying this, and I'm going to be very upfront with you guys. There's like 7 people on Raw every week. Yeah. Like the same 7 people on Raw every week. What do you mean everyone needs to be on TV every week? Raw doesn't have everyone on TV every week. Granted, it's a shitty show, but you can do it. but my point is, you can do it a way where, man, okay, Malachi Black is cutting a promo in ring this week. Next week, he has a 2-minute he has a 30-second vignette. That's all you need. The presence is still there. And I love how AEW does that because I don't get to see Malachi Black wrestle every week. I'm not jaded by that. It's like a reward when I get to see him wrestle. It's a reward when I get to see, Adam Cole or whoever wrestle, right? But I like the way they do that. That opens you up to having more talent. I do agree. You can't sign everybody. They're not they shouldn't go after Drake Maverick. I'm not saying I'm not trying to get him a job whatever, but you're not going to go after every single person, right? But when you got someone like Kevin Owens who's should have headlined a WrestleMania, former Universal Champion, great all around, you sign him. When you got Kyle O'Reilly, who literally fits right in to a feud that you've been hinting at, you sign him because he's going to be worth it. Danhausen, you sign him. The Briscoes, you sign them as well. Tegan Knox.
Yeah.
Bolster up that women's division just like you do the men's division. Put Tegan Knox in there. There's so much you could do.
Tegan Knox versus Britt Baker. That sells. That just sells thinking about it.
Tegan Knox versus Jamie Hayter.
Dude, there are so many combinations. And like you said, Kevin Owens now, like I was saying, Omega hinted to Kevin Owens in Omega 3. Mm-hmm. He's like, I've robbed this man. I stole a match from this man years ago. Give him another chance. He's pretty much talking him up. I'm like, good job there, Kenny Omega. Good job there.
KO versus KO. Oh, actually, it would be KO versus KS.
True.
Kevin Steen, baby.
Kevin Steen,
fight,
yep.
Steen, fight. Give me Kevin Steen in AEW, please.
That'd be great, man. There's so many things you would talk about, but definitely for me would be the Briscoes. That's a must-have.
You got to sign the Briscoes.
That's a must-have.
Just plus the Young Bucks apparently are dealing with injuries. They want to take time. Sign the Briscoes. Just sign them. Put them in a feud with FTR. Put them in a feud with what's it called? The Lucha Bros. Don't have them say anything problematic because the Briscoes have had a problem with that. But no, Briscoes are amazing in ring. It's okay. Hey, all the wrestling fans. It's
all right, guys.
It's okay. It's going to be okay. Before you send that tweet, I just want you to know it's okay. I just know this is something to get people around.
AEW can't sign everybody, you mark.
They can't, but like you said, and this is the last I'm going to say, they do a very good job about the TV time for everyone, and it's actually a very refreshing way of a old school style that they use in AEW, and it's refreshing to see them. Someone is actually regurgitating and using it again.
How much is Tony Khan paying you to market their company? I bet you're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars. Tony Khan, did you know Jon Moxley making $26 million a year?
I cut my own hair. I have a hole
Someone
in my
told
shirt.
me that in the
They pay me
comments of one of
nothing.
my videos. You know that, right? Someone told me that in the comments of one of the videos. They were like, "It's like Tony. It's like AEW's gonna go out of business. They're paying John Moxley $26 million a year. Kenny Omega $10 million a year." I'm like,
Do you know how much they're doing in revenue?
no. First of all, John Moxley's not making $26 million a year. Kenny Omega's not making No.
No.
No, literally no. I just Mark. Some people will fall for anything. Just hey, if you see it on the internet,
It's probably
sometimes it's not true. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
I saw something on Reddit and 4chan. It must be true.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. God damn it. Shit.
Oh, I am just alienating a lot of our fans. I'm so sorry.
That's
And if you haven't stopped watching already, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new video is released. Trevor, let's move on. We're in the home stretch now, and I have some huge news that you might be excited for. Trevor, Bray Wyatt is going to return to WrestleMania weekend. Yes, Wyndham Rotunda. Sorry, let me restart that. A little cough. Trevor, Bray Wyatt has been announced for WrestleMania weekend for WrestleMania 38. Wyndham Rotunda, formerly known as Bray Wyatt, and The Fiend in WWE, has been confirmed for WrestleMania 38 week at WrestleCon 2022, which, of course, is an annual event that is held every single WrestleMania weekend. Apart from WWE and their access, the appearance at WrestleCon 2022 is the first wrestling-related booking confirmed for Wyndham Rotunda since his departure from WWE in July. His WWE not compete expired in October, and his final match with the company was, of course, at last year's WrestleMania against Randy Orton in whatever the hell that was. AEW President Tony Khan has previously suggested that he would like to talk to Wyndham Rotunda at the right time, although it has already been announced that Rotunda's first post-WWE project is a feature film that he is working on. Rotunda is working on a film that is expected to be a horror movie. I can't wait to see whatever that is because I just feel like he's a great creative mind. Trevor, what are your thoughts on Wyndham Bray Wyatt taking this booking?
I mean, like you said, he's working on a movie, so maybe that's his only, like, his earliest free spot to do, something like that. But I have no doubt in my mind he'll be back in wrestling. What capacity, what promotion, we don't know. But I think this is good for him to relax a little bit. I mean, because I think there was speculation. I don't know if he actually said it. I don't believe he did. But I know there was speculation that there was some mental health issues going on there.
That was disproven. That was disproven.
No,
He said
okay,
he said
that was
was
speculation. Okay. But yeah, I mean, and plus I know he's also had some new additions to his family. I know he's taking time off of that, definitely. And let the man rest. Let the man relax. I'm pretty sure we'll see him back in the ring very soon. And I can't wait. I'm excited to see where he ends up. Shit, I'm excited for this movie. To see him in a horror capacity. Oh, I can't wait.
Yep, and if you want to see us react to it, head on over to patreon.com/RealTakeSports and give us the $5. We'll make it happen.
Absolutely, we definitely will.
So yeah, no, going back to Wyndham though, I mean, I think it's good. I think it's kind of easing him back into the wrestling kind of like limelight, the wrestling kind of foreground, because he doesn't need to sign with anyone tomorrow. I think he's doing the smart thing by just waiting it out and being like, okay, I'm doing this movie right now. I really want to do it. I'm going to flex my creative muscles because I couldn't do it while I was in WWE. At least to the extent that I probably should have been able to, given how great the character was. And granted, he was probably given more creative liberty than most people at WWE. I think that's just true.
Well,
it was just comparatively to what the ideas were, he probably should have been given more. Neither here nor there. I think it's fine for him to just be like, I'm going to do my project. Let's see what the landscape is 6 months from now. Let's see what the landscape is from like 9 months from now, whatever it is. If WrestleCon 2022 comes and goes and Wyndham still hasn't signed, wrestling fans, it's okay. It's okay. he'll be fine. He's probably doing something. He's waiting for the right time, and that's the thing. I think Tony Khan also hinted at it. He's open to talking to Wyndham at the right time. And I think timing is the whole thing. You don't want to just rush him to TV and be like, oh my God, we got Wyndham. That would be great. But it's also like, hey, build it up. Do what you did with Bryan Danielson. They agreed with Bryan Danielson in somewhere in July. But they were like, okay, we're going to wait it out. Wait for the right time. All Out was the right time. CM Punk, same thing. They agreed prior, like a month prior, that he was coming back. The first dance was built up, and they made it a thing. So let's wait and see where it goes. I think it's good. This is just same thing with Ruby Soho. I think just wait and see where it goes. This is good because it means that he definitely still wants to do wrestling. He said that also as well, but I think it's good for him to kind of just touch base a little bit with wrestling and wrestling fans and just be like, okay, I'm still doing this. I'm just waiting basically for the right time to, unveil my next wrestling project, if that makes sense. And who knows? He could. I think he would be. I think he would be even better suited to something like Control the Narrative, which is EC3's kind of not a promotion, but he's got his own wrestling thing. I want to say going on. I think he could be doing that. And it would work there. Obviously, you can't do that. That's not like a full-time thing. That's like a event-by-event thing. But, the possibilities are endless. He could work anywhere. The only thing I would say is you got to give this dude creative liberty.
You have to.
Yes. If there's one or two things that you want to tweak to work with him, but come on, this guy is just
in certain promotions, they're just gonna, they're pretty much
Impact. Impact. They're gonna give him the keys to the kingdom.
Here,
hey, but,
do what you need, sir.
Unless Scott D'Amore might be feeling himself. Impact just had the highest rating since July, so he's like, I don't need Kenny Omega. no, that's probably definitely not what he's saying.
But his brother is doing the same thing right now. Bo is not even caring about wrestling.
No. Wyndham cares about wrestling. Wyndham says he wants to come back.
I know Wyndham does, but Bo
Dallas is chilling right now. Isn't he a farmer? Isn't Bo Dallas like a farmer now?
He's something like that because he's doing a lot of drink and food pairings on his YouTube channel. He's doing a lot of different things, and he seems to be happy too, and he's making money from it. So hey.
Liv Morgan, convinced him or inspired him to get his real estate license. Fun fact. You know what? Hey, man, you want to sell a house? Bo knows.
Bo knows?
I believe.
Gotta believe. You gotta.
You gotta believe. You gotta believe that if you haven't hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, what the hell are you waiting for? You're being a little mark. Oh, my God. That was so aggressive. I apologize.
That was very aggressive. It was super aggressive.
Super aggressive. Oh, yeah. Bro. Anyway, final takes. I do have one final thing I want to talk about, and Absolutely. It has to do with the Nature Boy.
Good old Nature.
Is it getting hot in the room? Is it just me? So Ric Flair has been a busy boy on Twitter, saying some absolutely insane things over the past number of weeks. He's basically been wrestling's version of Papa John. The truth will come out kind of a thing. And Flair took to Twitter today talking about his unhappiness with WWE and then possibly erasing his legacy. So here's the tweet, quote, "Speaking of legacies, at WWE has decided to erase mine. That's all good. However, these two belts are my legacy, and I'd like them returned. I've asked twice, apparently falling on deaf ears. I'm assuming that next week on at Flair Uncensored, his new podcast, I'll have to explain in detail." Woo! Flair has been treated as a persona non grata since Dark Side of the Ring revealed in September that he was basically responsible for sexual assault, or at least alleged for sexual assault. Since then, he's gotten a lot widespread condemnation, as he probably should, because he also admitted to doing those things, which Yeah, terrible. But what do you kind of make of this, Trevor? What do you make of Ric Flair's posturing in these tweets of WWE trying to maybe silence his legacy? It was noted that I think Becky in her promo, like she kind of she said she was saying Charlotte Flair's name and she was like Charlotte and then she stopped and she didn't say Flair, so maybe that's a thing.
Yeah.
Also, Ric Flair, please tweet like a sensible human being. He literally capitalizes all words, and it's very hard to see the punctuation. All right, come on, Rick. Anyway, Trevor, what do you think about Flair? Being heated at WWE.
I mean, so I get the whole legacy thing if that's the issue, right? But to do it the way he's going about it, like, to be fair, like, no one's tarnishing your legacy but you. You admitted to doing the things you did. Like, of course, people did interviews. I mean, maybe, like, they shouldn't have been truthful. Like, I mean, Tommy Dreamer is feeling the repercussions because he actually defended you.
You know how many people find my ponytail offensive, Trevor?
let's just be honest. Like, you did what you claimed you did. Like, no one's ruining your legacy but yourself. So I honestly, it is much that pains me to say because I have very, very interesting feelings toward WWE as a company. I think you need to leave them alone. And I don't see the need for this. And if at your age your attention sinking, that's kind of sad.
Well, you know what this is, right? He's got a new podcast coming out.
Yeah.
He's just
It's
saying.
just to sell it,
Yeah, he's just selling. He's working. He's doing exactly what he's been doing for the past, like, 50, 60 years. He's being Ric Flair, and he's working. And he is now trying to sell a podcast, which, hey, good luck to him. Whatever.
Exactly, honestly.
Good luck to him. It's going to be interesting to hear what he has to say about his side of the situation. Because I feel like it's you know what he hasn't even really talked about it too much, but I can already tell once it happens, it's gonna make him look even worse somehow, and it's gonna kind of probably as Aaron Rodgers would say, put the cancel culture nail in my cancel culture coffin. Oh my god, that's save that for Real Take Sports Talk on Wednesday nights live here on YouTube. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, I think he's just working. As far as the two belts he mentioned in the tweet, assuming he's talking about championship belts that at one point,
guessing NWA might be one of them.
Yeah, maybe like championship belts that belong to the NWA or any wrestling company that he belonged to that he may have given or donated to WWE and now he wants back. Good luck getting those belts back, Rick. Don't think you're gonna see those anytime soon, unless you break into the warehouse, which I don't break into the warehouse. Anybody, wrestling fans are wild. They'll listen to me. Don't break into any warehouses. Come on. But yeah, I mean, look, what's the old saying? You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Yep, you reap what you sow, and it's weird because we talked about this a few months ago, right? And we in good detail, I think, about the whole Dark Side of the Ring situation.
Yeah.
It still bothers me in a way. And this is like even being introspective in myself, and I understand like it's totally understand that like I'm like no, there's clearly victims here who we should all feel bad for. But it's weird. I'm like, I don't know. We've heard the stories, right? And we kind of talked about this a little bit. Like, we heard the stories. Ric Flair literally talked about this in his 30 for 30. Ric Flair talked about this in his WWE story time. He's talked about this on podcasts. Like, what he did on the plane ride from on other plane rides and what he did to other airline, hostesses and stewards. And we listen to this stuff, right? And I, like, personally, I can say I listened to this stuff, right? And it was, like, portrayed in such a way, and Ric Flair is, like, such a personality. You were just like, oh, man, it's Rick being Rick.
Right.
And you go and you think about it like logically for 1 second, and you're just like, what the fuck was like me? Like, I was like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, like, how did I not see like what was wrong there? And it's I don't know whether it's sad that it took someone, speaking out to really make me and I think a lot of people, definitely a lot of people, realize that, or whether it's a good thing. Probably a little bit of both, if I'm being honest. But it goes to show you, man, like stars can fall very fast, and at the end of the day, we can't be blinded by celebrity, no matter how famous someone may be. Ric Flair is Ric Flair, whether or not whatever he done or whatever, he has cemented himself in culture, in pop culture, in for forever. People look at him differently. Yes, I look at him completely differently than I used to. But but we can't be blinded by that when we I think hear stories or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not really going anywhere with it. I'm just kind of talking.
I get what you're saying though. Yeah, I understand. Like it's one of those things that, like I said, when you, actually, like you said, when you hear stories about famous people or people that in culture like this, you hear them and you're like, oh, that's just Ric Flair. That's just him being him. And again, and you think back on it, you're like, wait a minute, that shouldn't have even come out of my mouth. Like, I shouldn't give him a pass just because he did this. Like, I think one of the best things that I've heard was from Roddy Piper's autobiography, his biography, was when, because him and Piper were very good friends, and they raised hell and did some things together. And Piper once said he's not proud of all the things he did, but he hopes in due time that he can make up for it. And like, and not saying that it's okay to do that, but
right.
You gotta respect people who have that type of mentality. You know what I mean? I fucked up. I hope in due time that I can make up for this fuck up. You know what I mean? But at this point, it's just, again, Flair fucked himself, unfortunately, and I mean that's that. Even my opinion of Ric Flair has changed.
You reap what you sow. That's what it comes back to. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Don't think we have too many questions. Trevor. Feels like a lot is happening in wrestling, and also like nothing is happening in wrestling.
I know, right?
AEW has been so quiet since Full Gear happened. It's just been quiet.
It's a scary quiet though.
Oh wait, sorry, no, we never talked about this. Bryan Danielson turned heel.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that. He did.
We didn't talk about this. Bryan Danielson.
He officially turned heel.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those temporary heel turns where he's just gonna be like, "I had to know, brother." God. Oh, I can never cut a wrestling promo in my life because it's just gonna be like, let me tell you
something, brother.
I need to find out who that was, man. You talk about Bryan Danielson turning heel, but I'm gonna find out who that guy was at Heroes of Wrestling, who literally cut a Hulk Hogan promo. He's like this random jabroni. He was just like, Bobby, what do you think about this? Well, let me tell you something, brother. I'm just like, oh my god, no one can say that.
No one can say that at all, especially not you. But no, the whole Bryan Danielson heel change, I think it's temporary too. I don't think it's going to be permanent. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think it's going to be permanent. But in that particular match, I think someone has to be heel, and I don't think it's going to be Hangman.
Who the hell is Julio Fantastico? I'm serious. Who the hell is Julio Fantastico?
Just your reaction. Well, who the hell is Julio Fantastico?
Apparently a former MCW world champion.
Julio Fantastico. How does that name sound familiar?
He probably. Let's see. Here we go. On May 2nd, 2008, Julio Fantastico appeared as a jobber on an episode of WWE SmackDown in a match against Fit Finlay as Julio De Niro.
Julio De Niro. Wait a minute. Let me see what
Definitely not the Pope. Definitely not the Pope. D'Angelo De Niro. Now this is Julio Fantastico. Who the hell is Julio Fantastico? Oh, has anyone found Andy Levine yet?
I don't think anyone has seen it yet. Yeah, I don't think anyone has.
I've been looking for poor Andy Levine for a long time. Please, someone find Andy Levine. Like, I have this poor man. He just dropped off the face of the earth after getting stunned by Stone Cold, and then no one's seen him. Find me Andy Levine, please. I'm gonna start making missing posters. Like, this is a serious thing.
Well, I really have not seen him.
What happened to Big Andy? Let's check his Twitter. Has he tweeted yet since 2013? Oh, no. He has 420 Twitter followers. Has not tweeted since 2015. Oh my God. Please find Big Andy. Please. I'm worried. I'm truly worried about Big Andy. Wait, is this him? Nope. No, that's not Big Andy. We are very okay. I think we've reached a climax of this show. We're now looking for tough enough winner Andy Levine from 2011. Trevor, what are your parting thoughts from this week in professional wrestling and the world?
For those of you who celebrate the holiday, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Happy holidays, whatever. Enjoy your time with your family. Try to forget about the egg segment, because Homer won't.
Never getting over this one.
And for the love of Christ, just be good people. There's too much going on out there. People losing their family. I, for one, won't be spending my Thanksgiving with my family. For those of you who do, hug your family tight and have a good time, man. And be good people.
Absolutely. Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to someone in the internet wrestling community. For those who don't know, Jesse Davin is someone in the internet wrestling community, a fan, all of those things. She's been dealing with a lot of health issues lately, and going through a very rough time. And if everyone could go follow her at Jessie the Buckeye on Twitter, check her out. She's she's been taking everything that has been thrown her way, all the adversity and all the health issues that have been thrown her way, with such a positive feel. And it's great to see the fact that wrestling superstars and wrestlers from all over the world, from Big E to Darby Allin to Hangman, everyone have just come out and tweeted or talked about supporting her. And it's honestly one of the few times that the internet wrestling community and Twitter especially have really just converged with a positive message to someone who is going through an unimaginably rough time. And just shout out to her, shout out to everyone who is going through.
Pretty strong too. She's very strong woman.
Yeah, and shout out to everyone who's going through anything big. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to just everyone, the Bagwell family who recently lost Judy Bagwell, Buff Bagwell's mother. Just think about people that you love. Be thankful for the lives we have and how for long we have it, and hopeful for the future to come.
Said it better.
Yeah. That's a very nice outro this week. Very positive outlook. The power of positivity from good old Big E has gotten to me. You gotta love it. Anyway, I've been Omer for Trevor from Real Take Wrestle Talk. We will see you guys same time, same place. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever new videos are released. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Real Take Sports Talk. Follow us on Twitter at Real Take Sports, patreon.com/Real Take Sports. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. Also, check out our new website, RealTakeSports.com. Real Take Sports Talk live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. Check that out. So much chilling, so little time. We will see you guys same time, same place next week. Keep it real. Do you think the Cody Rhodes heel turn has already happened?
I think it has actually, and it's funny you mentioned that because I think it has subtly happened because you're starting to notice the boos. You're starting to know the way he like interacts with the fans. I mean, yeah, of course he still gives shout out to people who are